In this video, we're going to explore how to create a title and card section in our report. As a quick recap, we've now completed the entire charts and graphs section of our report, which includes the matrix table, net profits running total chart, year-over-year net profits comparison chart, and a waterfall chart from our previous videos. So in this video, we'll shift our focus to this top section, where we'll see how to add the logo, title, and single card visualizations you see here. The primary goal of this section is to display important information related to this report page and key performance indicators relating to the most important values from the report. Alright, let's get started. Now to start with, what I want to do is import the company logo and put that over here in the upper left hand corner of my report page. So I'm going to come up to the ribbon here at the top, I'm going to select Image, I'm going to navigate to my desktop. Now I'm going to import my company logo found right here. There we are. I'm going to put that into the upper right hand corner of my page. Get that to fit just within that title section. There we are, and move that one over. And maybe even one more down, just to make sure, because I like to avoid having these things touch the borders directly. Give it a little bit of white space. Perfect. Now, continuing with this idea, I'm going to also add a text box to be able to then put my title section in this page as well. So I'm going to come up to my text box section here, right above image. I'm going to select that. And I'm going to call this page here just as a generic name. It can be anything you need. So I'm just going to call this Contoso Report. And I'm going to take that text. I'm actually going to change that from Seago Light to Seago Bold. Maybe make that a bit bigger, like a font size 20. Go ahead and resize this just a little bit. There we are. And now that text box can be placed right up here next to the logo itself. Now that we have both the logo plus the title, I want to then add the card visualizations into the top section here above all the charts and graphs. So I'm going to come over to the visualization section, and I'm going to click on the card visualization to create a new visualization on my report page. So I'm going to select that, and to start with, I'm going to put this up into the upper right hand corner of my page here. Size that down a little bit. There we are. Now the first card that I'm going to create is for total sales, but my goal is, once I've created that and a few others, I want to be able to create a section here for my sales amount information leading up to net profits, and then my sales quantity information leading up to my net quantity. So let's start one at a time, and I'm going to take my total sales, and I'm going to add it to the only option that I have in here, which is my fields list. So I'm going to drag and drop that in there. Perfect. Now to continue on this, I'm going to go to the formatter now and clean this up a little bit. You might notice that if you take a look at it, it's actually requiring a lot of room. If I was to want to show the category label down here, which is the total sales at the bottom, that's actually this category label setting over here in Power BI. And I have no way to actually resize it. If I want to get that smaller, it's going to start cutting it off. So it's not very optimized for room. So I'm actually going to turn off category label. And I'm instead going to come down to the title section. And I'm going to turn on the title. And I'm going to call this sales amount. And then apply a little bit of formatting magic. Drop the text size or increase the text size up to 11. Have it left aligned. And let's change the background color to that dark blue that I used for my other titles. And that font color to a white. Perfect. Now one other thing that I want to clean up onto this card as well is I'm going to come up to the data label, and that's rounding to the nearest billion right now, and that can be a big rounding error. So I'm actually going to tick these decimal places here up a couple of notches, and I'm going to give that not 1, not 2, but 3 decimal places out. So that gives it a much more accurate number in terms of the actual value that it's showing, but also it's a large number, because if I showed the entire value, that would be a lot of characters required to show into here. And I'm also going to decrease the text size down to 20. Perfect. Go ahead and drop this size down a little bit. Now the last thing that I'm going to do too, just to give it a nice little polishing finish, is I'm going to go down to the background settings, and I'm going to turn the background on, and then I'm going to set it for the same color as the header in here, or the title section. And then last but not least, take that data label, change it from black to white to make it really stand out. And now what you've seen is that I've created is a card that has a nice frame around it, separates the title from the body of the calculation, and it just looks nice and clean sitting up there at the top of the page. And I'll even drop that down a couple more to make some room for some other calculations. Perfect. Now what I want to do with this card is I'm going to copy and paste it, and I'm actually going to create another couple of cards because my goal is to start with my sales amount, walk my way through all of my expenses, ending with a card that shows my net amount as well, or my net profit. So I'm going to copy and paste this a few more times, move this over to this section here to make some room. Now as a reminder, if we look at our formula for total expenses, that's a combination of three things: discount amount, return amount, and total cost. So I'm going to create a card for each of those. I'm going to copy and paste this, and this is now going to become my discount amount. So I'm going to come over here to discount amount. I'm going to move that into the fields list here, and as you can see, that updated the card. However, I still need to update my title, so come to my title section here, call that discount amount. And just as well, I'm going to do this once again for the return amount, so copy and paste that. And finally, concluding with that total cost here at the very end, after return amount, there we are, change that title. And call this one cost of goods. Perfect. And now that final card that goes up here, which is going to be my net profit. Beautiful. Change that title, and we are good to go. And as we've seen, these are really easy to copy and paste and reuse over and over again. Now another thing that we can do is add a bit of color formatting to make it stand out so we can identify our sales amount versus our cost versus our profit. So that profit I'm actually going to give as the color, in this case background color. I'm going to change that to green for the title, and I'm also going to change the background of the card to green as well. This profit's something that I would like to use as a nice green color for that. And then these discount, return, and cost of good amounts, I'm going to color that kind of a neutral gray. So like a light, like a light gray here. There we go. Perfect. Now the great thing too with these cards is I can use the format painter to copy these settings again. So I'm going to select that card. I'm going to come over to my home tab to select format painter. And now I can copy that format over again. And I can do that one more time. Perfect. There we are. Now the last three cards that I similarly want to place next to the amount values is my quantity values. And I want to create three cards in there: my sales quantity, my return quantity, and my net profit. So I'm actually going to multi-select three cards. So my sales amount here, holding my control key, my discount amount, and my net profit. And I'm going to control C and control V to copy and paste those. I'm going to move them over here kind of as a placeholder for now. 1, 2, and 3. See if I can make a little bit more room. And I'm going to nudge these all a little bit closer just to make room for everything. Now let's go ahead and update those values too. Select that sales amount, and just like everything else, I'm going to now swap that from total sales to sales quantity. I'm going to put that in there. Perfect. And remember to update that title. So go to the title section, sales amount, change that to sales quantity. Discount amount will now be updated to discount quantity. Beautiful. Update that title section again. And finally, that net profit will be updated to net quantity. And the great thing with cards too, and a lot of other visuals, is you can copy and paste them over and over again to reuse a lot of the shape, the size, and the formatting, so you don't have to continue to redo those. And now we have these nice clean little cards at the top that are displaying important information we'd want to present to our client. So that about covers it for this video. In our next video, we're going to explore how to create the slicers section in Power BI so our customers or clients can utilize the filters and be able to interact with and slice and dice their report. So I will see you then.